is a cold morning. Let's go and find some birdies to say hello to. Oh, there we go. Come on then. Yes, what do you want? Anyone laid me an egg? Oh, that looks, get out of the way. That looks like there is an egg. Someone's laid an egg, have they? Yeah? I'll go and get my egg in a minute. You gonna let me have the egg? Maybe. Hello, good morning and welcome back to Wi-Fi Sheep at Christmas with me, Tom. Now we're starting today with something a little bit different. I wanted to show you my daily routine. I do this every day, all year round, come rain or shine, and that is to look after the livestock which I happen to own. Now in this part of the world, owning livestock isn't exactly unusual. People will probably own at least some chickens like I do, possibly a goat, maybe a sheep if you're very lucky. But basically we own livestock. It is a rural semi-farming community here. I mean, for example, this county doesn't even have a major city in it. I live in the biggest town, and it's just a way of life that we have here, hence the name of the channel, Wi-Fi Sheep. Now many of you might know that I'm not really a gamer, but one of my guilty pleasures is playing the farm simulator games from Giant Software, in particular the latest and current version, Farm Simulator 22, which I play on Xbox One. Now what's really great about this game is obviously it allows you to play a farmer, which is something I think many of us would really like to do in real life, but also there is a free DLC map for 22 called Attingham Park, and believe it or not, Attingham Park is based on a real world location which is less than 10 minutes drive from where I am right here. Take a look. Anyway, on with our journey and a little road trip. So this is me driving, leaving my local area. These are the local shops. This is called the Column Roundabout. And we join this road, which will speed up the footage. This is London Road. This is on the way to Attingham Park. That's my college, which just passed on the left. And we'll continue down the road to Emstree Island Roundabout. This is where we cross over the A5. And this is now the B4380, or the former old A5, and this takes us to Attingham Park. So here we are, we're now live with the game footage. The Xbox version, well, obviously is on your left and the real life version is on the right. And here we are entering Attingham, which is one of the two villages on the map. This map, by the way, is created by GB Modding, and it's for Farm Simulator 22 by Giant Software, and that's what we're running here on the Xbox One original. You'll notice there's a sheep truck just passed on the real life footage, and we're coming up to a turn here in the village itself. Now, because mapping doesn't quite add up space wise, and I in real life have to wait for traffic, can't just ram into things, I've done to do a few of these cut scenes. Here we are, we're back now, so the footage kind of syncs back up again. So we're entering into the village itself, and as you can see, all the buildings, they're there. They're not quite 100% right, but they're there. And we're coming up to another turning here. Now, in reality, you'll see in a minute, I had to stop again to let a van out because the road is narrower in reality than it is on the game. So we just let this van pass. Okay, there we go. And here is the main sort of residential street. I think it's the only residential street in Attingham. And we're going to go right to the end of the road and park up adjacent to the fence. I've got there a bit quicker in the game than I have in reality. There we are. can be television transmitter for TV and radio. Anyway, back to Attingham Park and Atcham. We're looking back down the street, and here is the same street we've just driven up in reality. And there's that van again. I think he was lost. Okay, this is the churchyard of St. Eater's, which is the other side of the village. And again, it's all beautifully modelled in the game. Not quite right, there's more of a graveyard in the real church, but and the church model itself I think is a little bit more of a generic church model, but yeah, here's the church in reality with its clock tower. And here's the game version, which, yeah, is a close representation. Anyway, let's wander for the churchyard. And here is the banks of the River Severn. And the very iconic twin road and footbridge that we have in Atcham, which again has been beautifully modelled. And this is the back of the hotel, which has been closed now for a little while. It didn't do too well out the back of COVID, but in the game there's actually a delivery point at the back here for, I forget what it is, I'll have to look on the game, but yeah, the real hotel hasn't been open for some time, unfortunately. Back on the main road, there is the gates for the Attingham Park stately home estate, and here it is in the game. Again, because the sort of camera angles and things, the perspectives don't quite match up with reality. But we do my best, and there is a better view of the real arches, which again have been, you know, very faithfully recreated and modelled. Hopefully you can hear me all right. So we're moving along the road now, and you see the bus shelter, quite substantial brick bus shelter, is beautifully modelled. A couple of houses correct behind. The only bit where we start seeing a little bit of artistic license in order to make the game engine playable and work is that the tractor dealership, and as you can see, it's actually a car dealership just past the bus stop. So the buildings are here, but it's not quite as substantial as what they modelled in the game. As you can see, it's a little more mundane, but it's there. And it is a kind of vehicular business, I should say, right there. And this is back on the main two bridges at Atcham. And again, this is probably one of my favourite models because they really have captured this so well, all things considered. And just quickly before we leave, I just want to show you this iconic red post office phone box, which is there in reality. Here is the stand-in in the game. Not as nice, a bit more of a generic European American phone kiosk. Anyway, we're driving again and we're back up that road for the residential street, and we're leaving. We're going to leave Atcham in real time this time, and we're going to drive all the way to Crosshouses. I nearly forgot the name there. Crosshouses, which is the second of the two villages modelled in the game. We're going to try and do this where possible in real time. Again, there'll be a couple of cuts because my real life driving was either slower than the game, so we've had to cut the game footage a little bit. Here we are. So I'm just catching up because I had to stop at the crossing. Joining the main road again. There we go. Past the entrance for Attingham Park itself. We're going over one of the two bridges, the road bridge. So we'll be heading back towards Shrewsbury now. Except we're going to take the first left. This is the road which is priority in the Farm Simulator map, and this connects Atcham to Crosshouses. So we'll let this run in real time. I don't know who parked that tractor there. That's probably why there hasn't been much AI traffic around, because it's all got clogged up behind a tractor that someone may or may not have left whilst doing this recording. Oh well. I also noticed actually a lot of the cars in the game, there's very few European cars, so you generally have an awful lot of French cars. Also, you'll notice that I'm actually driving on the correct side of the road, which is nicely modelled in the game. When a lot of US people play this, they always drive on the right, but of course in the UK we drive on the left. Admittedly, I am in the game using a left-hand drive vehicle. That's mainly because of where the dash cam on my car is situated. My car's a right-hand drive but just the footage works better to use as sort of matching vehicles. So I also should probably apologise for all the muck and stuff on my windshield. I didn't really notice that, and I couldn't see what the camera was recording because obviously I was driving. So, but anyway, I hope this gives you an idea. It's roughly accurate. I've also tried to match the season, so both the real footage and the game footage are emulating the full autumn October season. So again, we're just doing a little bit of catching up here. There we go, to try and keep the game in sync. So on your left, the substation, electrical substation for the village of Crosshouses. This lane is a lot narrower in reality than it is in the game, passing quite a distinctive brick wall, and we're out to roundabout at Crosshouses. We have more traffic in reality than there is actually in the game. So we're now driving down the main road in Crosshouses, and we're going to take the first left here. Again, let me catch up in reality. There we go. Now this area has been quite faithfully modelled, as you can see, but there are a number of changes, and in a minute we're going to get to our first sort of work of fiction for this area. So this warehouse in the game isn't there. This road is, but you'll see in reality that the road actually just goes to a dead end, a car park, where in the game it carries on. But what is in reality is this main block of housing. And again, all this has been quite faithfully modelled, and it is relatively accurate for what is there in reality. So we'll just have a little wander down the street. Show you this quickly. So the old building with the very distinctive chimney is actually here in reality, and it's down this road. And then down the bottom here is, in the game, what they say is a can I put this field, playable field, but in reality is actually council allotments. Which on my level I've sort of flattened, set up my farm depot. And a look just down the main street here in Crosshouses. Again, very faithfully recreated. Not so many houses the other side of that wall, but it's there. Now, in reality, the fuel station and village shop here has been bigged up enormously. So it's not actually that big a site. It's there, and it's relatively faithfully modelled, although it's sort of, in the game, it has other industries around the back of it, which I can tell you aren't actually there in person. The roadway leading around the back of it, which is probably just hiding behind the back of the street lamp, there it is, by the road sign, that does exist, and that does got the back of the site and up the hill. So it's faithfully modelled, but as I've said all along, the game has to add things to it to make it functional, which aren't there in reality. In reality, yes, it's a petrol station, and it's a very small shop and post office, but it's not the kind of hub for this area. You'd go to places, much bigger places, much nearer, if you wanted to do big shops or anything. But of course, the game has to compromise. Obviously, the whole point of Farm Simulator is you can actually be a farmer, and it's just kind of cool to be here on the Xbox One
And by the way, just ahead of me are sort of those trees in the distance. So where I actually am is kind of about a mile and a half that way is Wi-Fi Sheep headquarters. So we're literally not that far from here at all. So I know this place so well and have done for years.
So there you are, that's Attingham Park map for Farm Simulator 22 as featured in real life just down the road from me here at Wi-Fi Sheep. I really hope you enjoyed that video, something a little bit different for Christmas. If you haven't done so already, please do consider liking and subscribing. You can also join us on channel members or via Patreon at patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. Here is a list of the current brilliant, fantastic people that do financially back the channel, either via YouTube channel members or Patreon. Thank you so much if you do continue to contribute. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas, and I hope to see you real soon right here on the channel. Until next time, bye for now.